Looking forward to 2020, what are we going to see? I think you see very different outlooks on the side of the two parties. First of all, with the Republicans, it's all about defense. They're basically completely locked in. First of all, they're locked in because they really, practically speaking, have no choice but to go with Trump in 2020, even though a lot of them probably secretly preferred they had another president. A lot of them would probably rather be president themselves. But they have no choice. And in fact, there is no, as I point out here, there is no example of a party thwarting the desire of its incumbent president to run again. And it only affords two examples of a party winning the next presidential election after its incumbent voluntarily decides not to run. So even if Trump were to voluntarily decide he doesn't want to run, that is only, the party only wins the next election twice in American history. One was with John Adams succeeding George Washington. Arguably, that wasn't even a party back then. And the other is when Herbert Hoover succeeded Calvin Coolidge. Well, as a Republican succeeding a Calvin, Silent Cal did not want to run another term, so he didn't. He just famously said, I declined to run, period. He didn't say a lot. And then Herbert Hoover ran. Well, that's not a great precedent for Marco Rubio or John Kasich or Ted Cruz to be everyone thinking he's the next Herbert Hoover. I don't know. I wouldn't want to go into an election with that kind of tag. So anyway, I think they're stuck with Trump. They know they're not going to get much new legislation. They just got to weather it out. For Democrats, on the other hand, it's going to be all about offense. It's going to be dealing with the huge diversity in ideology within their party, the huge diversity in age. I mean, you've got a couple of senior members who attended JFK's inauguration in the House. I believe Nancy Pelosi did. And then you've got newly elected members who don't even know who Monica Lewinsky is. I mean, I'm telling you, that is the range. It's just stunning. So you've got all of this, and then they've got to decide on a national candidate that they can run. Who can unify this party that's kind of all over the place? So that leads just to my final thoughts here. How do the odds stack up? Well, first of all, right now, if you look at prediction markets, particularly look at Predictit, it's not looking good for the Republicans. Right now, the odds are 62 to 39 that the Democrats will be in the White House at the end of 2020. And you can see on this next chart, what's interesting is, and this kind of is my final theme, as you can see, they parted company after the midterm. You can see this is by date going back. But they've been actually, ever since the midterm, they've been getting, the margin has been getting wider and wider. Why is it getting wider even after the midterm? You can see the volume on this. It's great. It's a prediction market, so you can see volume. So there's a lot of trading right at the midterm, and there's been a lot of trading recently as the division is, the odds are getting wider. What's going on? I'll tell you what I think it is. I think it's the economy. And here's the problem for the Republicans. The problem for the Republicans is they just got beaten pretty bad in an election with things not looking great for 2020, just demographically and given the nature of the vote. And it's hard to imagine the economy doing any better than it's doing now, right? In terms of unemployment rate, in terms of industrial capacity, and just everything else. I mean, we brought on as many millennials, I think, as we're going to take on into the economy. Everyone's working. Older age brackets are working even more than they were back in 2007. So this market is humming. The problem is that no one expects the market, no one expects the economy or the markets to be doing that well in about a year and a half from now. And so, you've seen it on this show. We got our own Quad 4 call. You got the Merrill Lynch survey showing that investors are their most pessimistic since 2008. You've got the inverted yield curve. We did a piece on that just a couple of months ago. If the yield curve inverts, say sometime in the spring, say sometime in February or March, that would be the maximally worst timing for the Republican Party, just given the expected average amount of time, the duration between the yield curve inverting and going into a recession. That would happen early in 2020, and that would not be good. So just keep in mind that this could be a very important election. If the economy does do badly, and if markets turn south with the economy, you could imagine not just a Democratic White House, but a Democratic Senate, which was not possible this year, but it would be possible in 2020. And you have a Democratic Party which, in terms of its policy prescriptions, is distinctly to the left of where it has been, and I think to rouse their base and to rouse voters, this is a party that is going to tap into, on the left, some of the same populism that the GOP has been tapping into on the right.